Hello ladies and gentlemen, my name is Vasil. I am a product owner at Shelly. Shelly is one of the biggest smart home manufacturers out there and also one of the fastest growing ones. And I'm also a founder of KKWare. KKWare is a company where we automate and optimize businesses using AI, smart home devices, smart home solutions overall, and software. So, what are we going to talk about today? Today we are going to talk about one simple change that you can make to your business that will make you more money. Or actually, it will save you a lot of money. Which will make you a lot of money. No, it will make you a lot of money. Yes, and that is reducing churn. First, I'm going to talk with you about why churn is such a problem, how easy it is for you to reduce the churn, and also in the end, I'm going to tell you how you can automate that. What is churn? Churn is the rate at which your customers are dropping off. So imagine that this month you gained 10 new customers, but you lost 3 of your older ones. Your company is growing if the new customers are more than the lost customers. And let me share a formula with you. Your lifetime customer value is how much money you would get from your customer for the entire period of time through which you get money from them. And the simple formula for calculating that is your subscription price divided by your churn. If we have, let me take out my calculator. Let me take out my calculator and show you something. I want to demonstrate to you how reducing churn with just 1-2% leads to a lot more gains. So let's say we have a company that has something that is being sold for €9 per month, right? That's the subscription, €9. And we divide that by churn of 10%. By churn of 10%. Then the LTV is €90. But if that same €9, I don't know how I have cut myself out when I got closer to the camera, whatever. And instead this time we have 0.7, no, bullshit, 0.07, so 7% churn only. You go up to €128. You see the difference? And let's reduce it even further. Let's go to 1% churn. €900. So a 9% change in the churn led to 9 times increased lifetime value of your customers. I wanted to demonstrate that to you, to show you how powerful reducing your churn is. Reducing the churn by just a few percent will lead to a very, very high increase in your profits. Now, oops, not these notes, these notes. Now that we have established why reducing churn is important and why churn is something really bad for you. So imagine it, that is an analogy that I have learned from Alex Hormozy. Imagine churn as a leaky bucket. So you have a bucket, you fill it with water, and you want that bucket to overflow and eventually for you to start filling up a bathtub, for example, I don't know. And later you want to fill up a lake. But for starters, you need to fill up the first bucket. However, that bucket has a hole. Yes, now, let's look at some data. Personalized onboarding / follow-up reduces churn by 10 to 15% on average for SaaS companies. And you just saw how dramatic a change of 9% to the churn could be. Imagine 15% change. And that's according to Bain & Company research on customer retention. 5% improvement in retention can increase profits by 25 to 95%? I must have miswritten that. 25 to 95%. I have to check that later. But if that's true, 5% improvement in retention can increase profits to up to 95%. Imagine. Customers who feel appreciated are 5 times more likely to repurchase and 4 times more likely to refer someone. Oops. Now, let's continue to the other notes. Those are notes that I have taken watching some of Alex Hormozi's videos. I want to share them with you just to make an even stronger point on how important churn is, how easy it is for you to actually reduce churn, and how you can automate it to make it even easier. So, the first thing that you can do to reduce your churn is to make it an important factor for you. So, the first step is to track churn. What you track is what you see as important, so track it. The second one is, if someone is not consuming the service, try to make them consume it. So send them some reminder emails, maybe schedule a meeting with them to find out why they're not using it. Have they got any blocker that stops them from doing that? We can quote that as add accountability around the consumption of your product. Because people who do not use it at some point will stop paying for it, right? Why leak their money to you when they can spend it on something else? Third, have exit interviews. If someone wants to cancel the service, try to find out as much as possible about why they did that. In that way, you can do 2 positive things. First, you can find out why people are leaving to fix that problem. And second, a lot of time people just need to vent. That is a quote by Hormozi. A pain that can be solved is a potential upsell opportunity. So imagine someone misses some feature and you tell them, oh, no problem. We thought that this was the best plan for you, but we have misjudged you. Therefore, now that you told me that you need that, you can use the higher plan. That's a bit more expensive plan, which will solve that problem for you. And they're like, oh yeah, thank you, okay. 4, create some sort of community around the product. People, especially nowadays, need to be in a community because life as it is makes it more difficult to connect to people. So if it is possible for you, have a community component, do member events, etc. It doesn't need to be so often. Once a quarter, it's good enough. 5, send personalized things. A summary would be that you need to look like you care and like you pay attention to your customers. At the end of the video that I watched from Hormozi, where he explained how to reduce churn, he said that you need to build systems around that and not to automate that. Because he says that if it is better to not do it at all than to automate it. But I do not agree with him. Let me tell you why. Yes, if you just send generic emails to everyone, this is not really a personalized component. In no way does that make you feel part of a community, or does it make you feel that the business that gives you the service and takes your money cares for you. But with AI, it is possible to do it otherwise. Let me explain to you how you can do that. AI, as is right now, with no extra tools around it, has no idea about any prior history. That AI starts from scratch every time. But if you use a knowledge base, like Gibbon knowledge base, for example, you can make your automations in such a way that your AI always knows the most important about what you're discussing. He always knows the right information. You're not dumping all the context into it. He's just fetching, he himself is fetching only the relevant data based on the particular use case. And imagine that you have a system that tracks everything about your customers. Not everything, but as much as it can be tracked from the service that you offer. And it is locked inside the knowledge base of the AI, in this case, Gibbon knowledge base. Then, if you make a cron job and you schedule the AI, for example, once a month to send something personalized, what he will do is go through the knowledge base, and for each of your customers, he will find something positive, some progress that he will include inside that personalized message to the customer. That way, it still looks authentic, it still looks personalized and it is not generic. So the person will feel like you care about him. Especially, of course, you create some sort of template, you explain to Claude how you want those mails to be structured. Mails, messages, whatever. You will decide how you want to do it. And you will just train him to sound like you. That's it. And by training, I don't mean that you're going to have to retrain an entire AI model. No, you just send 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 messages. You give those messages to him. He logs them inside the knowledge base, and from now on, you have created a procedure. Every time such a message needs to be sent, he fetches those messages, or the template that he has extracted from those messages. He then fetches relevant data about the customer, combines those two, and sends the perfect personalized message. Zero effort. No, not zero. One-time effort. And then a cron job and your AI plus knowledge base automation will continue going forward. Bye-bye.